Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Acosta of CNN just tweeted, "I've just been denied entrance to the White House. Secret Service just informed me I cannot enter the White House grounds for my 8 p.m. hit." Sarah Huckabee Sanders tweeted the following: "President Trump believes in a free press and expects and welcomes tough questions of him and his administration. We will, however, never tolerate a reporter placing his hands on a young woman just trying to do her job as a White House intern. This conduct is absolutely unacceptable. It is also completely disrespectful to the reporter's colleagues not to allow them an opportunity to ask a question. President Trump has given the press more access than any president in history. Contrary to CNN's assertions, there is no greater demonstration of the president's support for a free press than the event he held today. Only they would attack the president for not supporting a free press in the midst of him taking 68 questions from 35 different reporters over the course of 1.5 hours, including several from the reporter in question. The fact that CNN is proud of the way their employee behaved is not only disgusting, it's an example of their outrageous disregard for everyone, including young women who work in this administration. As a result of today's incident, the White House is suspending the hard pass of the reporter involved until further notice." And I'll go even beyond this. You cannot have an individual who has a press pass at a presidential press conference who has as his purpose to disrupt the presidential press conference. And that's what he's done. You cannot think of another reporter in any past presidency who's conducted himself this way. I heard Juan Williams refer to Sam Donaldson. Sam Donaldson didn't conduct himself this way. He would yell questions to the president, Reagan, and Reagan would smile and wave him off. But at a press conference, you ask a question, you ask two questions, and that's it. There has to be some level of civility. But Jim Acosta is not interested in that. Now, presidential press conferences did not always exist. They really started in the last century. Some presidents had many, some have had few. But they don't have to have any. They're not required to have any. They can have interviews with the press, national press persons, regional press people, local press people. This is how Obama got around a lot of the national press, even though they slobbered all over him. So while freedom of the press is an absolute right, access to a presidential press conference is not. And you cannot have one individual among many disrupting the entire press conference and creating news rather than reporting news. Now, I know the press will circle the wagons because they're of one mindset, groupthink. As his fellow on press wrote, this liberal, Matthew Pressman, in his book, Liberal Values, yes, but that doesn't mean there's liberal bias. But he's wrong. And we see it every day. The media have gone from reporting to interpreting to advocating for the left, to advocating for the Democrats. Questions about impeachment, questions about subpoenas, questions about the president's tax returns. Repeated references to him as a liar on CNN, as a racist during the course of the press conference with the nationalism question. He's called a gangster after the press conference by media. What are they so angry about? I thought the Republicans and Trump just took a licking last night, because they didn't. So the media can't be part of the resistance. The media have to be the media. But they're not. This is why the vast majority of editorial pages in newspapers in this country endorse Democrats. The news pages are ideologically infected. Editors make decisions that seem to advance the cause of the Democrat Party and the left. And they're clearly hostile to conservatives and Republicans generally. We're not white nationalists. That is, Klansmen and neo-Nazis. We're not racist, yet we've been called all these things. All these things. And then look at the Sessions removal. He was effectively fired. He resigned. All of a sudden, it's called a constitutional crisis. The president removed a cabinet secretary. Why is that a constitutional crisis? Well, there's an investigation going on. There's always an investigation going on, particularly in Republican administrations. So you can't fire the attorney general who's recused himself? So they have permanent jobs like a judge? When did that happen? That's simply unacceptable. So we have what is now a malignant media as far as I'm concerned. A malignant media. They never treated Obama this way, despite the fact that he unleashed the FBI on the New York Times and AP and Fox News. They never talked about a constitutional crisis when Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch were running interference with Obama. Never. So today, they're comparing Trump to Nixon. Last week, they were comparing Trump to Hitler. So I guess we're making some progress. And last night, they were so gleeful about the investigations that will be launched by the House of Representatives. Gleeful. So the media is disrupting presidential press conferences. They're making allegations and putting question marks on the back of them as if they're serious questions. They're pushing the Democrats to go after the president, to cripple his administration. Tell me, how does this help the Republic in any way? How does this help the Republic? To try and cripple a president, to try and get him removed from office, to try and see him indicted, even though he can't be. They've been rooting for Robert Mueller now for over a year, hoping, beyond hope, that he'll do something to harm this president. Most of the media are in the ends of the country, the eastern seaboard and the western seaboard. Even more, most of the media is in Washington, D.C. and Manhattan, with some in L.A. and, of course, the rest in the rest of the country. They do not have a national perspective. This isn't where Trump supporters are. They're not in Manhattan and Jerry Nadler's district. They're not in L.A. and Adam Schiff's district. They're not in San Francisco and Nancy Pelosi's district. That's not where you are. Now, obviously, many of you listeners are, but you get my point. That's not where the strength of the president's support is. And now they're going to probably have an 11 or 12 seat majority in the House. And if, in fact, they do what Nadler says he wants to do, and they do what Adam Schiff says he wants to do, and they do what Maxine Waters says she wants to do, it'll be a short-lived majority. In the meantime, the Chinese are on the move, the Russians are on the move, the Iranians are on the move. In the meantime, our borders are wide open. In the meantime, our military needs to get the support that it deserves and that we need it to get. And in the meantime, they will try and cripple the economy for political reasons in hopes of winning the 2020 presidential elections. And you know, when you conduct investigations like the Democrats plan to conduct, you start calling people from the administration, formerly from the administration, in front of committees. They have to hire lawyers. Many of them go broke. Many of them go broke. I'll be right back.